I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Johan, and I'm a typical Dutchman. And if you're planning to come over to Europe to live here or for your holidays, or if you're wondering why is everything in America so expensive in comparison with Europe, then you are at the right channel, because we're looking here at the cost of living of Americans versus the cost of life and living in Europe. And for today, we're going to take a look at the 10 cheapest towns to live in United States by 2025 from Discover the Abroad. And we're going to start with a subscribe and a like. And let's take a look what the 10 cheapest towns in United States are. And if you think, it's not there, I know some cheaper ones, let me know in the comments, because people always want to know where, if they're going to move, where they should move, and if not, if they should go abroad to Europe and move and live here. So let me know if this is not correct, but let's take a look at this 10 cheapest towns.
Skyrocketing rents and sky-high living costs. Are you tired of skyrocketing rents and sky-high living costs? What if you could live in a vibrant community, enjoy great amenities, and still have plenty of cash left over at the end of the month? Sounds too good to be true, right?
Yeah. Most of the time I hear we living from paycheck to paycheck. So really having some extra cash at the end of the month?
Well, get ready to discover the 10 cheapest towns to live in the United States in 2025.
Inside the United States, okay.
From hidden gems to affordable big cities, these towns offer unbeatable savings without sacrificing quality of life. Want to know where you can live comfortably on a budget? Let's dive in and explore your future affordable paradise. Number 10. Rockford, Illinois. If you think Illinois is
Rockford, Illinois.
all about Chicago's sky-high prices, think again. Welcome to Rockford, Illinois, a city that delivers big savings, small-town charm, and just enough city life to keep things interesting. With a cost of living that's 22% lower than the national average, Rockford is one of the cheapest places to live in the entire Midwest.
22% cheaper than the average of, I don't know, the TLC, true life cost, or, yeah.
Let's start with housing, because this is where Rockford really shines. The median home price is just $140,000, which is a whopping 67% lower than the national median of $420,000.
Wait, I missed something, sorry.
Let's start with housing, because this is where Rockford really shines. The median home price is just $140,000, which is a whopping 67% lower than the national median of $420,000.
Yeah, that's really a large portion cheaper. It's cheaper even than in Europe. Average house in Europe, nowadays, with the housing crisis we have, you are about, let's say, between 150 and 200,000. Yeah, so it's wow.
If you're renting, you'll be just as happy. A one-bedroom apartment averages about $750 per month, while a
rented 100, okay. Yeah, that's also cheaper than in, I won't say in Europe because I don't know the prices everywhere else, but in the Netherlands, yeah, for 600, you won't get rent a house, a one bedroom. One bedroom room, not in a student town, yeah, 600 would be about the same. That's a long waiting list.
A two-bedroom costs around $1,000.
Two-bedroom, 1,000. Yeah, same as in the Netherlands.
That's almost half the price of rent in Chicago.
Half the price of Chicago. Half. 1,000.
Which sits at $2,200 plus for a one-bedroom. And it's not just housing that's cheap. Everything in Rockford costs less. Groceries are about 15% cheaper than the national average. meaning you can grab a gallon of milk for $2.90, a dozen eggs for $2.50, and a loaf of bread for just $2.30.
Sounds good, knowing the other prices.
Even gas is affordable, averaging around $3.10 per gallon, which is way below Illinois' major metro areas. Plus, the city's public transportation is super budget-friendly, with bus fares costing just $1.50 per ride or $45 for a monthly pass.
Wow, that sounds good.
Now, let's talk jobs. Rockford is home to major industries like aerospace, healthcare, and manufacturing, meaning steady employment opportunities. Companies like Collins Aerospace, OSF Healthcare, and Woodward Inc. provide thousands of jobs, and the unemployment rate sits at a manageable 4.2%. The average salary in Rockford is around $52,000, which might not sound like a fortune, but when combined with the low cost of living, it actually goes further than earning $80,000 in a high-cost city. But wait, Rockford isn't just affordable, it's also a great place to live. Known as the Forest City, it's filled with parks, rivers, and scenic beauty. If you're into music, the city has a surprisingly vibrant scene with live concerts, art festivals, and local breweries. With ultra-affordable housing,
Yeah, it looks very nice. All this green of course trees are green, but all this green, all those trees I see out here, looks very nice. I've no skyscrapers, city block after city block. It looks really nice living for me. I like to be outdoors, etc. So yeah, house with the cycling.
cheap everyday expenses, and a thriving job market, Rockford proves that you don't need to break the bank to enjoy a high quality of life. Number 9.
Okay, Rockford. Number 10. Sounds good. Let's go on to number 9.
Brownsville, Texas.
In Texas. Oh,
Brownsville, Texas, a town where affordability meets warm weather and rich culture.
yeah, it's down in the south. Nice weather, except for now. Now it's raining cats and dogs, so there's a flood going on.
If you're someone who loves sunshine, low living costs, and amazing tacos, this place is calling your name. Brownsville is one of the cheapest cities in Texas, with a cost of living that's 24% lower than the national average. Yeah, you heard that right. 24%.
A quarter percent. A quarter. Boom.
The median home price here is just $169,000. That's nearly $250,000 cheaper than the national median. And if you're renting,
Yeah, but in the other city it was 140, so it's okay.
you can easily find a one-bedroom apartment for as low as $750 per month, while a decent two-bedroom will run you around $950. A steal compared to places like Austin or Dallas, where rents have skyrocketed over $2,000. Food, utilities, and transportation, also ridiculously cheap. A gallon of milk costs around $2.80, a loaf of bread is just $2.50,
Wrong knife.
and gas prices hover around $2.90 per gallon, way lower than the national average. Plus, Texas has zero state income tax, so your paycheck goes even further. But Brownsville
No state income tax. It's strange to me as an European that you don't pay income tax of your income in a state.
isn't just about affordability. It's about quality of life too. Located right on the border of Mexico, it offers a vibrant cultural mix with festivals, delicious Tex-Mex food, and beautiful beaches just 30 minutes away in South Padre Island. You can literally take a weekend trip to the beach without breaking the bank. Job opportunities. Brownsville is growing, especially in aerospace, healthcare, and manufacturing. With companies like SpaceX launching rockets nearby, this area is becoming a rising star in Texas.
Okay.
If you want a town with a low cost of living, warm weather year-round, and a mix of American and Mexican culture, Brownsville should be at the top of your list.
Sounds good. Sounds better than the Netherlands. We have no warm weather all year long.
Number 8. Decatur, Illinois. Decatur, Illinois, a town that proves you don't need a massive salary to live a comfortable life. If you're tired of paying $300 for groceries and spending half your paycheck on rent, you're gonna love Decatur. First off, let's talk housing. The median home price in Decatur is just $109,000.
109. Wow.
Yep, you heard that right. Less than $110,000 for a house. That's about 75% cheaper than the national average. And if you're renting, a 2-bedroom apartment will cost you around $800 per month, while a 1-bedroom can be found for as low as $650. Compare that to Chicago, where the average rent is over $2,400.
Yeah, again, Chicago, yeah.
A no-brainer. But it's not just about cheap housing. Decatur is affordable across the board. The cost of groceries is 15% below the national average, meaning a dozen eggs will cost you around $2.70, and a full grocery run for the week might set you back just $80. Gas prices hover around $3.10 per gallon, and utilities are nearly 20% cheaper than most U.S. cities. And here's the best part. Decatur is not some boring, run-down town. It's got a thriving local scene with parks, lakes, and festivals all year long. Lake Decatur is perfect for fishing, boating, and weekend picnics. Plus, if you're into history, you'll love visiting places like the Hieronymus Mueller Museum, which showcases Decatur's rich industrial past.
And again, a lot of trees. No no skyscrapers. Low housing, as in 3 or 4 floors, and a lot of nice view also. Yeah, looks good.
The job market here is stable, with opportunities in manufacturing, agriculture, and healthcare. The city is home to Archer Daniels Midland, ADM, one of the world's largest agricultural processing companies, meaning there's always work for skilled laborers. So, if you're looking for one of the cheapest places to buy a home, super low rent, and a relaxed small-town vibe, Decatur is a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Number 7. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fort Wayne, Indiana, a place that gives you big city amenities at small-town prices. Fort Wayne isn't just affordable, it's actually one of the best cities in the U.S. for quality of life. The median home price in Fort Wayne is just $200,000.
Okay, 200,000 median. That's twice as the previous.
Which is more than $220,000 below the national average.
But that's hitting, that's 200 below the national average. So the average is around $400,000 for a house. That's ridiculous how high that is. 400,000. If I have to buy here in the Netherlands, or I would buy in Germany or Belgium a house for 400, I would have a mansion with my own driveway and
And if you're looking to rent, you can find a 2-bedroom apartment for just $1,050 per month, while a 1-bedroom can go as low as $850. That's insanely cheap compared to cities like Indianapolis, where rents are over $1,500 a month. The overall cost of living in Fort Wayne is 14% below the national average. Groceries here are cheap. A gallon of milk is $3.10, a loaf of bread is around $2.40, and eating out won't break the bank. You can grab a solid meal at a local restaurant for under $12, and even a nice dinner for 2 will cost you around $40 to $50.
that's the same as over here in Europe. That's good prices. Without the tip, of course. And in Europe, you don't pay a tip.
One thing that makes Fort Wayne so livable is its fantastic job market. The city has a super low unemployment rate of just 3.2%, and it's home to growing industries like healthcare, defense, and manufacturing. Companies like General Motors, Parkview Health, and Sweetwater Sound provide tons of jobs, meaning there's always opportunity. And guess what? Fort Wayne isn't just affordable, it's actually fun. The city has an amazing downtown area with restaurants, breweries, and festivals. It's home to over 90 parks, including the famous Promenade Park, where you can enjoy riverfront views, live music, and kayaking. If you love sports, you can catch a Fort Wayne Tin Caps baseball game for just $10 a ticket. way cheaper than an MLB game.
Yeah, nice view. Some skyscrapers over here for the housing, but large trees. This church looking nice. Not those wide streets all over here with all those 6 lanes roads and highways and sounds nice, looks nice.
Transportation is also super budget friendly. You can fill up your gas tank for about $3.20 per gallon. And if you don't drive, public transit fares are just $1.25 per ride. So if you're looking for a city with a strong job market, tons of fun things to do, and one of the lowest costs of living in the Midwest, Fort Wayne should definitely be on your list. Number 6. Springfield, Missouri. Springfield, Missouri, a city that gives you the best of both worlds. Big city amenities at small-town prices. If you're looking for cheap housing, affordable groceries, and a great quality of life, Springfield might just be the perfect place to call home. First, let's talk about the cost of living. Springfield is 17% cheaper than the US average, making it one of the most affordable mid-sized cities in America.
Yeah, but I already hear percentages of 21 and 24 and 25%, so.
And the biggest win? Housing costs are 30% lower than the national average. That means while the typical American home costs around $420,000, you can snag a nice home in Springfield for just $190,000.
Next to the Simpsons. Springfield.
And if you prefer renting? A 1-bedroom apartment averages $850 per month, while a 2-bedroom will run you around $1,100, a fraction of what you'd pay in larger cities like St. Louis or Kansas City.
St. Louis? St. Louis. We got an AI voice.
But it's not just housing that's affordable. Springfield is cheap across the board. A gallon of milk costs around $3, a dozen eggs are about $2.50, and even gas stays below $3.20 per gallon. Eating out is also a steal. You can grab a full meal at a local diner for just $10 to $12. Now, let's talk about what makes Springfield special. This city is home to Missouri State University, which brings a fun, youthful energy to the area. Plus, if you love the outdoors, Springfield has over 90 parks and trails, including fantastic caverns, the only ride-through cave system in North America.
Oh? Interesting? Interesting? Not for me, but according to, yeah.
The job market is strong too, with big employers in healthcare, retail, and manufacturing. The unemployment rate hovers around 3.5%, meaning there are plenty of job opportunities. Springfield is proof that you don't need to spend a fortune to live well, have fun, and enjoy life. If you want a low cost of living, great job market, and tons of outdoor activities, Springfield should definitely be on your radar. Number 5. Conway, Arkansas. Conway, Arkansas, a small city with a big personality and even bigger savings. Nicknamed the City of Colleges, Conway is one of the fastest growing cities in Arkansas.
Okay, with a lot of colleges, I assume. Bigger skyscrapers I see over here.
But don't worry, it's still ridiculously affordable. First, let's look at housing. The median home price in Conway is just $180,000, a whopping 58% lower than the national
Yeah, half the price, yeah, 180.
median of $420,000. If you're renting, you'll be even happier. A 1-bedroom apartment costs around $750 per month.
And still, if I hear these prices, for 1 bedroom, you pay $750 a month. And for me, it sounds as a reasonable price, but if you don't earn, if you only earn your minimum wage, then you cannot afford even some of these cheapest houses of rent prices I hear over here. So because you only earn what? The federal minimum wage is $7.15 or so.
and a two-bedroom averages about $950. Compare that to places like Little Rock, where rents can go up to $1,400, and you can see why people love Conway. And here's the best part: no state income tax on groceries. That's
No state income on groceries. Amazing. Doesn't say anything to me, but what does it mean? Yeah.
right. While other states are taxing your food, Arkansas lets you keep more money in your pocket. Speaking of food, let's talk prices. A dozen eggs costs about $2.40, a gallon of milk is $2.90, and gas prices stay around $3.10 per gallon. What about jobs? Conway has a super low unemployment rate of 3.1%, and thanks to its three major colleges,
All the scenes in this video about jobs, all the time that somebody is leaving. He's fired with his box and he is sitting at the stairs wondering, oh, why don't I have a job anymore?
University of Central Arkansas, Hendrix College, and Central Baptist College. Education is a big industry here. Other job sectors include healthcare, technology, and manufacturing, making it a great place to find steady work. But life isn't just about cheap living. It's about
Wow! I don't see this one often in videos. An actual fort from, I don't know, I guess the early days as in, let's say, the colonial time. This is not something I see often. It's more something that I see not in the Netherlands. We do have a nice older cities with walls, but this kind of castles, you have to go to Germany or Austria and Switzerland. No, not in Switzerland. Mainly in Germany and in Luxembourg, you will find these kinds of. But I never seen this before. Wow.
having fun too. Conway is surrounded by beautiful nature, including Cadron Settlement Park, where you can go hiking, fishing, and kayaking. Plus, the city has a thriving art scene, great local restaurants, and fun events like Toad Suck Days, a
Toad Suck Days?
quirky local festival that celebrates, you guessed,
Look at this, is amazing. This looks medieval. Medieval, yeah, medieval. Wow.
it, Toads. If you want a super affordable place with great job opportunities, fun festivals, and easy access to nature, Conway, Arkansas is calling your name. Number 4, Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee. Elvis Presley.
All right, music lovers and BBQ fanatics. Let's talk about Memphis, Tennessee. This city isn't just famous for its rich music history and legendary BBQ joints. It's also one of the cheapest major cities in America. First up,
It's really a major city. Yeah, it's actually saying something to me as a European. The name Memphis, Tennessee, I heard of it.
look at housing. The median home price in Memphis is only $160,000.
160. Sounds good.
That's about 62% cheaper than the national median of $420,000. And renting? A one-bedroom apartment averages around $850, while a two-bedroom costs about $1,100. Incredible for a city of this size.
Yeah, for a big city, comparing to the other cities, well, smaller cities, but they look to me much nicer with more trees. And if I look over this, I see it's not my kind of city. I don't like this kinds of cities with this large road highways running through the city and the skyscrapers and some green there, here and there. Nah, it's not my kind of a city, but yeah.
But here's where Memphis really saves you money. There's no state income tax. That means you keep more of your paycheck compared to states like California or New York, where taxes eat up a huge chunk of your earnings. Cost of living here is 19% lower than the national average. Grocery prices are 15% cheaper, meaning you can buy a dozen eggs for $2.50, a gallon of milk for $3, and a full meal at a local BBQ joint for just $12. And gas? It's usually around $3 per gallon, making it one of the cheapest big cities to drive in. And let's be real.
In comparison with Europe, a gallon, I do know now what a gallon is, because a gallon is about 3.7 liters. So if the price for a gallon is $3 something, divided by 3, that means that you pay $1 and something and change for 1 liter of gas. Then you pay in the Netherlands almost €1.90, almost $2, and in Germany $1 directly converted, $1.95 per liter times 3, and you know the price in gallons times 3.7.
Memphis is one of the most exciting cities on this list. You've got Beale Street, the heart of the blues scene, where you can catch live music every night for little to no cover charge. And of course, there's Graceland, home of Elvis Presley, which attracts over 600,000 visitors a year.
600,000 visitors a year! Huh! They will have a bad year with no one coming over from Europe and afraid of Trump's ice.
Job-wise, Memphis is a major hub for logistics, healthcare, and manufacturing. With companies like FedEx, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and AutoZone headquartered here, there are plenty of solid career opportunities. The unemployment rate is around 4.2%.
Again, need work.
Meaning jobs are available if you're looking. One more thing. Memphis is home to some of the best BBQ on the planet. Whether it's ribs from Central BBQ or pulled pork from Gus's, you're always just a few dollars away from a mouth-watering meal.
Yeah, looks good. The BBQ. Barbecue, yeah.
So if you're looking for a big city with a low cost of living, great food, amazing music, and no state income tax, Memphis is the place to be. Number 3. Wichita, Kansas. If you're looking for big city perks without the big city price tag, Wichita, Kansas is your answer.
The name does ring a bell. I does not know where it rings a bell from, but Wichita.
As the largest city in Kansas, Wichita gives you the vibrancy of an urban hub while still being incredibly affordable. With a cost of living that's 21% lower than the national average, it's one of the cheapest places to live in the entire country. Let's start with housing. The median home price in Wichita is just $175,000. That's nearly 60% lower than the US average of $420,000. Even renting is a steal. A one-bedroom apartment costs about $850 per month.
Yeah, but not with this view. I won't believe that you'll get a one-bedroom for $850 with this view. I don't think so.
While a two-bedroom averages around $1,100.
Yeah, and he's talking about a one-bedroom or a two-bedroom. Doesn't say how many square feet in English is the living space. Over here, we don't talk about feet. We talk about meters. But a one-bedroom with kitchen and toilet and the washing, the bathroom, etc. We're talking about between 50 and 75 square meters. And when you go larger, then we're talking about 100 to 125 square meters living space. Saying I can rent a house with one bedroom, yeah, what does it mean? How many square feet space do I have? Can I put in a couch and a TV and then everything is cramped?
Compare that to places like Denver or Dallas, where you'd easily pay twice as much, and it's easy to see why Wichita is a budget-friendly dream. But the savings don't stop at housing. Everyday expenses are shockingly low too. A gallon of milk costs around $3, a dozen eggs go for $2.50, and you can fill up your gas tank for about $3 per gallon. Even eating out is a bargain. You can grab a full meal at a local restaurant for just $10 to $12.
Wow, nice. Same price as I hear all the video.
And let's not forget the job market. Wichita is known as the air capital of the world, thanks to its strong aviation industry. Companies like Spirit Aerosystems, Textron Aviation, and Cessna provide thousands of jobs.
Looks great, this city view. Wow.
The unemployment rate sits at just 3.5%, meaning it's a
Again, somebody's backing up.
great place to find work. Beyond affordability, Wichita is actually a really fun place to live. The city is packed with museums, breweries, and parks. The Sedgwick County Zoo, home to over 3,000 animals, is a local favorite. And if you love arts and culture, check out the Wichita Art Museum or the historic Old Town District, which is full of restaurants and live music venues. For anyone looking for a low cost of living, a strong job market, and tons of things to do, Wichita is the perfect mix of affordability and excitement. Number 2. Abilene, Texas. Texas is already
The second city in Texas.
known for no state income tax and affordable living, but Abilene takes it to another level. With a population of just over 125,000, this small city in West Texas offers super cheap housing, low taxes, and a booming economy, all wrapped up in a friendly, welcoming atmosphere. First, let's talk real estate. Abilene's median home price is just $165,000. That's over 60% lower than the national average.
Yeah. Good. Those are good prices that I hear. So 150, 160, and compare us to what you already several times 420,000. It's yeah.
Renters will love it here too, with a one-bedroom apartment going for around $750 and a two-bedroom averaging $950. Compare that to Austin, where rents easily top $1,800, and you'll see why Abilene
$1,800 for 2-bedroom rent. Whoa.
is a steal. But Abilene's affordability isn't just about housing. Groceries, healthcare, and transportation are all about 20% cheaper than the U.S. average.
First time I hear mention healthcare cheaper.
A dozen eggs cost $2.30, a gallon of milk is around $3, and gas prices typically stay under $3.10 per gallon. Even your utility bills are lower here, with an average electricity bill of about $130 per month, compared to the 200-plus bills common in other Texas cities.
Also, the first time he mentions utility bill.
Abilene's job market is thriving, with major employers in education, healthcare, and the military. Dyess Air Force Base is a huge economic driver, along with Hendrick Health System and Abilene Christian University. The city's unemployment rate is just 3.2%, meaning jobs are plentiful. Beyond the low cost of living, Abilene has plenty of charm and things to do. The city is packed with historic sites like Frontier, Texas, a fun,
Nah. Almost look the same as the capital, so it's also from that time period.
interactive museum about the Old West. The Grace Museum is another must-visit, featuring art and history exhibits. And if you love the outdoors, Abilene State Park offers hiking, fishing, and camping. With Texas-sized savings, low crime rates, and a strong job market, Abilene is an underrated gem that's perfect for budget-conscious living. Number 1.
We're moving on to number 1, the best city to live in,
Smith, Arkansas.
Fort Smith.
Fort Smith, Arkansas takes the crown as the most affordable town in the U.S. for 2025. If you're looking for a place where your money stretches further than anywhere else, Fort Smith is the ultimate budget-friendly paradise.
Let's hear why it's the ultimate, because I hear a lot of prices.
The cost of living in Fort Smith is a jaw-dropping 25% lower than the national average. Housing, ridiculously cheap. The median home price is just $150,000.
Yeah, I already hear prices coming by for 109 and 115, I believe, the first city. So it's not cheaper than the other cities.
64% less than the national median of
64, because I already had heard 75%.
$420,000.
Yeah.
If you're renting, you'll be thrilled. A one-bedroom apartment costs just $700 per month.
Also, I heard prices coming by from $600 a month for a one bedroom.
While a two-bedroom averages about $900. But that's not all.
Yeah, but you don't get this kind of space and room for $900. No.
Everything is cheaper in Fort Smith. Groceries are about 18% lower than the national average, meaning a dozen eggs cost around $2.20, a gallon of milk is $2.80, and a loaf of bread is just $2. Gas.
A loaf of bread is just $2. A loaf of bread. Over in Europe, on average, between $1 and $1.50. The more luxurious breads are $2, but between $1 and $1.50, you have a loaf of bread.
Gas prices? Around $2.90 per gallon, making Fort Smith one of the cheapest cities to drive in. Even utilities
but you're gonna need a car.
are lower, with the average monthly electric bill at about $125. And guess what? Arkansas has no state income tax on groceries and some of the lowest property taxes in the country. That means you keep more of your hard-earned money compared to residents in higher tax states. But Fort Smith isn't just cheap. It's actually a really cool place to live. This historic city sits on the Arkansas-Oklahoma border and is packed with museums, parks, and festivals. The Fort Smith National Historic Site takes you back to the days of the Wild West, and the city's downtown is full of fun breweries and restaurants. Jobs are solid here too.
Nice mountains. This is a good view. And I like mountains to cycle in, so yeah.
The city has major employers in manufacturing, healthcare, and transportation, with companies like Ream Manufacturing, OK Foods, and Baptist Health providing thousands of jobs. The unemployment rate hovers around 3.4%, making it a great place to find work without breaking the bank.
Always so depressing scene about the unemployment rate.
With dirt cheap housing, no grocery tax, low utility costs, and a charming historic feel, Fort Smith, Arkansas is hands down the most affordable place to live in the U.S.
Yeah,
Are you tired
suddenly the video stops after number 1. Yeah, interesting video. I've seen a lot of cities coming by, but I don't think that the number 1 was the best city, because if I'm correct, the first one we did, and that was number 10. What was number 10?
Number 10, Rockford, Illinois.
Yeah, Rockford had better prices, I hear, than the number 1. So, but comparing to other numbers I hear coming by from the average in the United States, this city sounds very good. Yeah. Not those jaw-dropping numbers like, what do you pay for gas? Or what do you pay for your rent or something? Yeah, interesting. Well, if you like more of these videos, then maybe you should take a look of this one. And otherwise, please subscribe to the channel. It will mean the world to me. And I will see you in one of those other videos. Thank you for watching.